So there was a time in my life where I literally thought that I was not going to be able to actually leave New York. Now, it's been almost like about 4 years or like 5 years since I actually left the city. And in this video, I'm going to tell you 10 reasons why I was actually able to leave New York. It almost sounds like I escaped New York. And for the most part, I actually do think I did escape New York. Not like anyone was chasing me or I was in danger, but New York is one of those cities that it's like so hard to actually leave. And maybe you know this, maybe you don't, but when you first get to New York, it almost feels like you're definitely like, I am not going to live here. I'm not going to live here. Then all of a sudden, it's been 8 years and you're like, well, I can't leave here, because I don't fit anywhere else in a way. But happily but surely, I was actually able to leave New York. And in this video, I'm going to share with you guys 10 reasons why I actually left. Again, these are my 10 reasons. These reasons may be important to you also. You may share them. You might say, Tommy, it's not really a big deal. But for me, this was a massive deal. Now, do me a favor, guys, and actually smash the like button and let's get right into it, okay? Now, the very first reason was actually the pace. I did not know this, okay? When I first arrived to New York, I was like, everything here is so fast paced. It kind of just feels like you start the day and 2 minutes later, you're sleeping, okay? Like your whole day is over. Even as a high school student, I felt that way. As a college student, I definitely felt that way. And when I started working, I was like, yeah, this is actually insane. Now, thankfully for me, I got to leave New York every single year, like for the summers and December time, to come here to Dominican Republic to spend time with my family. And whenever I got here, I was like, wow, island time is a real thing. Things just go by slower here. And for some time, I was like, I want to go back to New York. And then I realized that no, I actually don't want to feel like my life is passing me by. I actually do want to feel like, yeah, things are pretty slow and I actually like it. Now, the second reason I actually left New York was because home prices. I lived in a 2-bedroom apartment with my mom when I was over there, and we literally had to rent one of the bedrooms to actually be able to pay for the apartment, okay? It was that crazy. And a lot of people have to do the exact same thing. Now, when I started to make money, I started to look into buying a property, and properties were crazy. The home where we lived, where we thought this is trash, honestly, was like $700,000. I looked into buying like a like a house like up the block, $700,000. Another one, $800,000. And then I looked into, for example, condos, okay? And I was like, well, a condo costs $175, but then you're stuck with an HOA fee of like $700 to $1,000. I was like, it's like paying rent. I mean, what's the point of this, okay? And then you have to live on top of people or people below you. And if you don't want to live that way, you're going to have to pay a lot of money. But even then, you're basically living right next to people, okay? There's just a lot of people and real estate prices are always super expensive. Now, what's the problem with that? The problem was, it's not like I couldn't afford it. But the problem was, in order for me to afford that, it was going to take me decades of work. And I was just not willing to pay that price. Now, the third reason, the weather. Now, for me personally, this is just a me thing, okay? But I always felt like New York was like a black and white movie. It always felt like it was just all gray. Whenever I came to the islands here in Dominican Republic, I always felt like it was like taking off some shades and I was like, finally, I can see color. It just always felt like it was just black and white. The weather, I didn't like it because I don't like the cold. I don't like snow. And when it's hot, man, because of the humidity. Now, the fourth reason I left New York, which was one of the reasons I loved New York for some time, was the hustle culture, man. It always felt like everything was about money. Everything was about gain. Everything was about making progress. Everything was just about material gain, okay? And I kind of just stopped liking that. I stopped wanting to just become more successful, to make more money. And it just felt like the entire culture was just surrounded with that. It was all about how can we improve the most? How can we make the most? How can we basically buy this and buy that? And then I realized that every single time I got to what I believe was the pinnacle, because when I was broke, there were some things I wanted, right? I wanted like a car, I wanted money, I wanted shoes, I wanted this. And then I got those things and I was like, yeah, this doesn't really make me happy. And when I got more success, I was like, yeah, this isn't making me happy either. So it was like, this doesn't really make any sense. Me chasing this is like a dog chasing its tail. Then you have number 5. It's basically train people, man. So train people, if you're from New York, you ever been to New York and got on the metro, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Last time I went to New York, I got to the airport and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna take an Uber. This time, I'm just going to basically grab my one little luggage. I'm gonna take a train and I'm gonna get there. I wanna see how it is, okay? I never done it before. Boy, did I regret that, okay? The first thing I see when I get on the train is some guy taking a leak on the train, okay? He's literally taking a leak on the train. No one dares to watch this guy. There's just a lot of crazy stuff on the trains with New York, okay? Whether it's the entertainment, which sometimes I appreciate, but sometimes I don't want. I've seen entertainer guys that go in there entertain, and when they don't get any money, they kind of lose it, okay? And they want to fight people. I saw this lady literally fight somebody else for absolutely no reason. Like, the lady's just there, and all of a sudden it just slaps the other lady. I'm like, what is going on here, okay? So I've seen a lot of crazy things on trains, and I just don't want to deal with it. You know what I mean? So number 6. It sounds crazy, but if you've ever been to New York, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Number 6 is lack of trust, man. I never felt like anyone trusts anyone, including myself. When you live in a big city and there are so many people and you hear the news with so many crazy things happening, people just don't trust each other. And that's not normal, by the way. Cops didn't trust me. People didn't trust me. I went to a store, they didn't trust me. I went to school, they put, for example, like literally like a metal detector there. They don't trust me. And you're probably thinking, Tommy, trust is earned. You gotta earn trust. But no, it's a city of mistrust. That's what it is, okay? I live in a small town now, and like the culture here is almost like we trust first, and if we get hurt for trusting, then that's great, but we're not gonna live a life where we don't trust people. It's just so much more different, you know? I get stopped here and it's not because of the color of my skin only, okay? Although that was probably a factor in New York, but it didn't feel like that was the reason why. It was just like everyone was that way. But here, I get stopped by a cop. The cop is like, you were driving this, you know, but I don't feel like something's gonna happen, okay? I'm walking the street, I trust people. I go into a store, no one's looking over my shoulder unless I go to like one of those stores here in Dominican Republic. There's a lot of Asian people that come here and they open up big stores and they're always watching people because they do have a pickpocketing problem over there. So I do get that. But for the most part, it just feels like a lot more trust in here. For me personally. But there are people here that don't trust anyone. But that's just a me thing, okay? Now, number 7, guys, is it kind of felt like all relationships were based on something. They were based on what can I get out of you, okay? It was kind of like, you know, if I do this for you, you do this for me. If you do that for me, I do that for you, okay? And it always it was even like, for example, when someone did me a favor, I wanted to give them money because I just didn't want to feel like I'd owe anyone, okay? It was just always like that. Like, it kind of felt like the culture was like, if I do this, you do this. I'm gonna be your friend so I can get this. You'll be my friend so I can get that. And everyone had like a mutual agreement on that, okay? That kind of felt like more like a personal thing to me, but you may feel that way. And I do hear a lot of folks, for example, from Los Angeles, like, I don't know what it's called, Los Angeles, yeah, like that's California. That's how they kind of feel also. It kind of feels like that, like your friends aren't really your friends. You kind of make friends, but then when you stop doing the things that they do, it's kind of like the friendship is over. If you stop being able to give them something, the friendship is over. You'll experiment it if you do go there. Number 8 is the taxes, man. You got city taxes, the state taxes, and then you got city taxes, and then you got federal taxes. It just felt like every dollar I made, I was splitting it like the government was making more money than I was making. They got a greater half than I did. It was kind of crazy. So that's not good. No one likes taxes. I do see the importance in taxes, but it also feels like, well, you're using my money, but I don't really have a say on how you're using it in a way. For the most part, you know, because I was living in a state. I won't get into that because I definitely don't want to get demonetized, but that's the idea, okay? Taxes. Not a big fan of taxes, okay? To the point was, at one point I was thinking about moving to Florida, which was a state without state taxes, which is actually pretty good. But then there's other things in there. But yeah, so that's one thing, taxes. Now, number 9 was there was no room to grow. In the city, specifically, when I say grow, I mean, for example, you couldn't buy land. You couldn't live, for example, where you had a backyard. If you want to live in Manhattan, to get a backyard, you have to be moving some serious weight, okay, honestly. But even if you live in the Bronx, to get a backyard, you have to spend a lot of money. It just always felt like you were always just going to just get just enough so you can just get like some living quarters. But there was no room to grow, to have like a house, some land, a garden, and all this stuff, you know? I never heard the word acres in New York. I never heard someone say, I'm gonna buy some acres, you know? That's not the culture, because who the heck is gonna be able to afford an acre in New York? It's insane, okay? Now, number 10 is going to be, and the last one here, it's not big family friendly. I honestly didn't meet any people with big families, but I'm not surprised, because everything is like pushed towards, you know, if things are expensive, if life is busy, you don't really have that much relationships, there's not that many real friendships in reality, then how does that promote like big families and so on? That's not what it is in New York. And I wanted to live somewhere where it kind of felt like it was more about family. It was a lot slower, where things weren't just about money and becoming like more financially, getting more financial gain and all this stuff. I wanted to be here. I wanted to be home, honestly. And home just feels a lot better than being somewhere else. It's different, but you'll experience it if you do live there. And if you do live in New York and you have no idea what I'm talking about, and you're getting ready to comment down below, Tommy, you're just a hypocrite, New York is awesome. The answer is, I really do advise you, look and travel to different places in the world. And if you don't have money, which is fine, you don't need to leave the States. There's a lot of places there. Go to some small like states, okay? Go to some states where you have like Tennessee, go to Florida, go to Texas, like experience those states, and you'll see a piece of what I'm talking about. It's just a lot different, and you'll learn to appreciate those things, okay? Now, I haven't really said anything about like specific people, or like the people were mean to me, they were bad to me. It never felt that way. I never really felt that way at all. Like New York people, they're not like how they paint them in the movies, like rude and all this stuff. I never got that, okay? Maybe from one or two people, but those are like special cases. As far as I know, most people tend to be nice people for the most part. I don't really know how their personal lives are, but that's basically it, guys. Okay, the way I see New York, it's like a place where you go. Like there used to be, for example, like company towns. You know, that was a real thing back in the days. A company would actually like build a town or buy a town, and then put the employees there, and you're there, you live there, but you're just there for work. That's how I kind of felt about New York. Never felt like New York could actually be home. It just felt like I was there to actually work and to get money, so then I could be able to actually build something, okay? That's how New York kind of felt to me. I did make some very good friends that till this day I will forever remember, which is awesome. I made like about four or five good friends that I still have their numbers today. We still talk often, and that's great, you know. But as far as me living in New York, I can't do it. I can't do it. Thanks for watching, guys, though. I'll see you guys next time. If you disagree, comment down below and let me know any of your thoughts. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Long-term team out. Subscribe to the channel, by the way.